Good morning and welcome to Tuesday's Table Talk with TKRL. Today in studio we have a really special guest. Tammy is here to discuss with us her experience at Rachel's Vineyard retreat. And just to give you a little history on that, Rachel's Vineyard is a post-abortive healing retreat. It is 3 days and 2 nights locally in the Fresno area. And it has been around for 22 years, putting on retreats to help men and women heal after the abortion choice. And whether the abortion was just a few days ago or several years ago, this retreat has helped many around the state, around the nation, who travel to get healing about an abortion choice that was made a time ago. So let me welcome you to Tammy into the studio. Tammy, when was your retreat?
It was a few weeks ago. And it was amazing. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I knew that I was ready for some even more healing. I felt like I've been healed, but I felt like I could use more healing and learning and growing in this experience. And when I went, I was really nervous at first, but then at the same time, I would say that when I saw the women in a circle, I thought that was beautiful because it was more of an intimate setting than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was just going to be spoke to as you would in a college class. Everyone was so warm and caring, and I was able to share my story, and I was able to hear other women's stories, and something about going through something that someone else has gone through that's just such trauma in your life. It just seemed empowering. Everybody was very respectful, and everyone listened carefully, and then we all had a chance to talk and share, and it was just everything I needed and everything that other women needed. I know the first night it was we all met at dinner, and I remember it was just, there were a lot of heavy hearts. Not sure what was going to happen and everything. But after we started getting into all the activities that were involved, it was going straight to our hearts. And it was really beautiful. And I would say that I had more compassion for women that have gone through what I've gone through. And it was just something that helped me to realize that I was acknowledging my son. I have a name for him, Nicholas David, and just naming him and feeling a bond with him and closeness. I've never felt that closeness before. And by, I think it was Sunday, you could just see the loads lifted, the burdens lifted. We were in a learning and growing process, and we were doing it together. And the one thing that was so important to me is I'm a Christian, and it was scriptural based, and that was beautiful. Some of the stories that God has helped me to heal and that have been comforting to me were shared at this retreat, and it really was Jesus focused. And that was very comforting for me because it's what I needed. And I know it was what everyone else needed too. There were men, and there was one man, and then there was a few women. And it was the right amount of women where we actually all had a chance to speak and share. And
I want to ask some questions about that experience. You said that you gave your son a name. Now, did you know it was a boy? A lot of times after abortion, if it happened early on, we don't know if it was a boy or girl. How'd you get to that conclusion? Did you know, or did you just feel like it was?
Well, actually, I had a really wonderful experience, and I know this is what Jesus Christ did for me, because when my daughter's grandma was getting ready to pass away, a couple of days before she was passing away, she asked my daughter, does your dad have a son? And then she asked me, does he have a son? And I'm like, absolutely not. Of course, I wasn't going to say anything. But right then,
I see.
I just knew that that was my son.
So she was nearing death.
Yes.
And she just asked this question randomly. And until that point, I'm gathering it had not been discussed. And you just felt like that was.
I'm like, that was for me.
Yeah.
Jesus did that for me.
Yeah. I know through my abortion experience early on, I spoke to a priest and got some help right away. But it was several years before I actually got to Rachel's Vineyard retreat. I thought what was interesting was I went and sought some help, and the first thing this priest asked me to do was name the child. And I was a little taken back by it. And he said, do you know what it would have been? And in my mind, I would have thought, no, I don't know. But immediately what came out of my mouth was a boy.
Mm.
And he said, will you name him right here, right now? And I said, Joseph. It just coming in, and he said, okay, now that's important. So I think it's really important for people, if this has been the experience, whether you've had a loss due to miscarriage or an abortion, to name the child, the psychology behind that. We know that if you have lost someone, it's important to name them. It's actually the beginning of grief, to actually name that there has been a loss. Sadness itself tells us there is something I'm missing here.
Right.
So I love that you had a name. Were there people on this retreat that hadn't named their children yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There were a few. Yeah.
Now, on this retreat, you mentioned that there was women. Was there men there?
There was one panel.
Okay. Is there men part of the team? I know that Rachel's Vineyard has a retreat team, and there was a man.
He was on the team.
Okay. Yes. And then remind us now, in the retreat team, everyone there, have they been post-abortive or not?
Yes, everyone on the team was, except for the counselor, I believe.
Okay. And I mean, for me personally, is that better, right? Because
so much better.
Yeah.
Like just telling your story and them that knowing they have gone through it too, and then hearing their story, it was incredible because you're like, wow, they know.
Right.
They know what I went through.
Right.
And it was so beautiful. And I still have connections with them. And we're going to meet up again in a few weeks.
Right.
And we have something so special that no one else can understand. Because sometimes when you share your story with someone else, they don't understand. You feel misunderstood. And
I think too, in the world, we're kind of made to feel like you're the only one who's gone through this. Like nobody, it's such, there's such a stigma attached to it. And I think it's kind of twisted. The world perpetuates this freedom that you will be freed from, your life. You could go to school, you can finish your plans, you can do whatever. And no one tells you that it was not freedom that I felt after I made that choice. It was grief, and it was instantaneous. It was done, and I knew it, that it was wrong at that point. And then you live for years. I don't know about you. I lived for 10 years before I ever said a word out loud. Beside the priest who I talked to initially, I never said anything to anyone. And it was just my secret. And I lived in my own shame and silence. I call it my own imprisonment, where as much as I could try to be a good person in the world, doing all the right things, I was involved with church, I was involved in the community, I was volunteering, feeling like I am good, right? I am good. See, I can be a contributor. I'm a good person. All the while feeling like nobody would really like me if they knew what I'd done.
I would sit in church, and the deacon, and the song leader would always sing Jesus Has a Rocking Chair. And I would always cry during that song. And I'd always ask God to forgive me. And I knew he forgave me, but I'd still say sorry over and over again. It just seemed like every time he sang it, I would say sorry over and over again. So I knew I was healed and that Jesus forgave me. I knew that I had to go through my own forgiving process, and that was hard, just accepting what I had done. And now going through the retreat, it's helped me to recognize my own son and actually look at it as a complete loss, a death of my child. And it is a grieving process now. And it's more healing than I ever thought possible. And I don't want anyone to go through this. So that's why I'm here at TKRL, because they've been helping me. I thank you guys for being my support and even sharing that there was Rachel's Vineyard, because I didn't know anything about it. So that was beautiful. And then being the support and paying for my way is beautiful. Thank you.
And how many years after the abortion, how many years had gone by before you went on the retreat? Not just recently. How many years in between?
Well, I was 19 and I'm 56. I haven't done the math, but so it's been a long time, a very long time.
I once did a retreat. I did a table hosting at a public event, and there was a woman who was using a walker and walking by the table, and her daughter scowled and said, "Don't go by that table, mother. You know what those people believe in." And the lady continued to walk toward me, and she came right up to me, and she said something I'll never forget, and I was taken back by it and not quite sure how to answer her. She said, "You know, I had an abortion 30-something years ago. Never bothered me a day in my life. I'm glad I did it." And it shook me that day. I don't remember my response. I think I said, "I'm happy for you. It was not my experience." I said something like that. But it really shook me, and I started to think, why? I understand that there's a science involved, or I'm not sure people understand this, but when a woman has conceived, the cells of that baby in her body remain. Whether she loses that child to miscarriage or to an abortion, part of those baby's cells stay in her body, and they forever produce white blood cells. So if mom is ever sick, the cells from that baby that was in there produces white blood cells. It's the baby actually continues to heal mother. There's a science behind that. It's not a faith-based thought, it's science. Mm-hmm. So my feeling is when people are years past an abortion and have never or don't feel like it has any mark, I wonder if perhaps there's some disconnect, body with spirit, even mind. And I know that people who have suffered with sexual trauma as children very naturally create a disconnect. Mm-hmm. So it makes me feel worse that maybe someone experienced sexual abuse and they very naturally just disconnect and don't feel it. Mm-hmm. So we actually here at TKRL offer retreats for the healing after sexual abuse as well, because those two are they're connected. If someone has been used to keeping secrets and having this secretive hiding and pain and trauma all by themselves, accompanied with shame and guilt that they had some part to do with that, it's very natural to go ahead with an abortion choice later on in life, even if the circumstances are different, because she's used to keeping secrets and being quiet and feeling guilty and ashamed. So we are so happy that we are here to offer these healing programs.
There's things that trigger you through all these years. They trigger it and then you push it down.
Right.
Trigger it, push it down.
Right. And 1 out of every 4 women have gone through an abortion. So it's more than likely that it's, as we walk around in our communities, even sit in our churches, the statistic is 1 in 4 in and outside of church. So there's not a lot of people talking about it.
Right.
But it's just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go back and ask you something about when you made the abortion choice and you went through the abortion clinic, be it Planned Parenthood or a family planning clinic. Those clinics are well known for the abortion services that they offer. Were you warned at the time that there's some possible mental health side effects that could come after the choice?
No.
Did they show you an ultrasound of the baby?
No.
And were you told at all that there was other options for you out there?
They said, would you like to do some counseling? And that's all I remember, but I had already made my choice. But I wish they would have done more. I wish they would have said, you have to listen to this ultrasound first, or you have to see what would happen during the process of having an abortion, because I think that would help women decide, no, that is not what I want.
Right.
I mean, it makes me sick sometimes and it makes me angry. that women are going through this. And even today, someone might have an appointment and they're going to feel what I felt all these years if they go through that.
Right. I know when I went up to the counter, I remember it like it was yesterday. And she said, the test is positive. Would you like to schedule for an abortion? That was it. I didn't get any other questions. And at 19 years old, I was 19 as well, in fear, panic mode, overwhelmed with all the questions and paranoia. I never expected it to be positive. My answer was very quickly yes, because, and she didn't say an abortion, she said termination. So for some reason to me, in that moment, I definitely wanted this issue I was having to be terminated. I wanted it to be over. And for the next step.
Fix.
Right. I think had she said anything, like, would you like a few weeks to think about it, right? Like, let the emotion, I almost feel like it was coercion, because it's such a quick experience, exchange of words, and I'm 19 and I'm scared and I don't know what to do now. I wish there would have been someone to come alongside and at least say, just even say, the side effects of this can go on for years.
Absolutely.
Depression, anxiety, drug and alcohol abuse, suicidal ideation, inability to bond with your children, inability to have relationships with other people or struggle with relationships, trust issues, all these things.
So many things.
I struggled for years with so many of those things. I had no clue.
It was connected.
I never thought it was connected to that choice. And no doctor I ever talked to or counselor I ever talked to ever said, was there an abortion in your past?
Right. So it's really not a quick fix. Right. Because look at what the suffering we've had to do over the years.
Right. That's very right. Yeah, but true. So if people are not ready to do this, because I can tell you honestly, when the option or opportunity came for me to go on this retreat, I wasn't excited about it. It happened 10 years after the event. I have 3 children now and I'm married. I didn't want to take time out of my life or schedule, and I certainly did not want to go back to those moments. So I know it's difficult. What can someone else do? Is there anything else that they can do to kind of maybe start the process of healing that doesn't involve a retreat?
Right. Well, I'm leading a Surrendering the Secret Bible study, and we have one person with me right now that we're working on it together. And I go back and forth thinking, should I have done this before or should I have done it after the retreat? But it really doesn't matter, because the Surrendering the Secret Bible study is definitely a healing process. Some of the things that, you definitely go over Bible scripture, which is amazing. And so you're focusing on Bible study and prayer with the other women that are also partaking in the Bible study. But it's been beautiful. It brings us closer. It helps us to share what's going on in our hearts and minds and the effects it's had on our lives. And I would really encourage anybody who's wanting to attend Surrendering the Secret for some healing, if you've had an abortion, to please come see TKRL, and we will help you to do that. And I will love to meet with you and go through that with you.
And this is a free service offered here at Tulare-Kings Resources for Life. So we offered a study. It's 8 sessions long. Each session is roughly an hour and a half, and the women would meet here at the office. So certainly if that's something we're offering, as well as the retreat experience. And you mentioned scholarships. So a lot of our donors give these donations specifically to fund scholarship opportunities like this. So if there's a financial reason why anyone cannot attend, we just don't want that to happen to anyone. So you would apply for a scholarship, and we ask those donors to continue. And if you are out there and you're even considering a donation to TKRL, you can specify that it be saved for women or men who want to heal using the Rachel's Vineyard retreat or the Grief to Grace retreat. So we always need those donations coming in so that we can afford the scholarships to help anyone who comes through the door. We don't want to ever turn someone down for lack of the donations that are coming in. So keep that in mind and really keep that prayerfully as a possibility. What do you think about our churches in the area? I mean, are churches talking about this healing? I mean, church is a place where we go to find the Lord, to find healing. Mm-hmm. Is it happening in the churches, do you think, or not, and why?
I feel like it needs to be. I feel like there's women in the church that may be keeping it a secret as well. I mean, I don't know personally each person, but like you said, if it's 1 out of 4, then there are people in our churches. I feel like we do need to speak out in our churches. I was asked from someone that is a volunteer here to go speak at her church. So I'm hoping that maybe we can get the ball rolling, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to be doing that in a couple weeks and speaking at her church and sharing my testimony. And I'm going to possibly be talking to my church family too and seeing if I can also share my testimony, and maybe we can help end abortion somehow.
Right. I think,
some way.
And if we can't, right, if we can't end the abortion, there's a few things I think our audience should know. And that is, for just as many women who are having abortions, 1 out of every 4, and it's normalized. It's now called a reproductive health. So you're calling it healthcare. I think one of the most important things we can do is speak out about the healing necessary after abortion. Just as commonly and regularly as everybody talks about the abortion, we should be set free to talk about the healing that's necessary. It is a trauma, physically, psychologically, mentally, spiritually, a crisis. So with all those things, we already know mental health now tells us that all of that trauma deserves healing. So this is with abortion for men and women, that healing is necessary, and we want to normalize that healing process here at TKRL.
Absolutely.
I also want to say that as we wrap it up for today, the importance of naming our children. My son is Joseph. He would be 35 years old this December. And your
Nicholas David.
Nicholas David.
And he would be 35 as well.
I didn't even know.
I didn't know that either. Wow. God knew.
Yeah.
God knew. That's beautiful. So beautiful.
Well, thank you for sharing with us today. Any other last comments for our audience who's viewing today?
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that it will help women heal from abortion, and also that we can probably most likely help women to choose life.
Yeah. With that, I just want to thank Tammy for being here today. This is not an easy topic, and we made it. We made it. Certainly join us at TKRL. Go to our website, find out more about the restorative programs we offer here, including Rachel's Vineyard, Grief to Grace, Embrace. Those are all programs free to our followers, our donor base. If you're joining us on a podcast for the first time, stay with us. We offer education programs, restoration programs, and defense of life activities. And to wrap it up, before we meet again, there is a teen mixer. So our teens are getting excited and really involved here at TKRL. There's a mixer. Please go to our website to sign up for that. It's coming up on November 15th. It's Saturday. We also have a menopause class, a perimenopause, menopause class coming up, also Saturday, November 15th. So it's a hop in place at TKRL. And then a walk for life in San Francisco. If you ever wondered how that would be or what the process is, you have a chartered bus trip to San Francisco for 1 day to join 30,000 people in a march in downtown San Francisco. It's a 1-day trip, $20 donation, and again, that can be found online. You don't want to wait for the last minute on that. Those buses take sign-ups now, but they fill up very quickly. So please consider those opportunities and go to our tkrl.org to make any donation toward the restorative programs we talked about today. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week. God bless you.